Welcome into Intentional Lounging, brought to you by Better and Green. We are so excited to be here again for week one, giving you guys more games. And starting off, guys, we're heading to Brazil on Friday night. The Eagles are playing the Packers. Eagles are 2.5-point favorites, over-under set at 49. Ethan, how do you think this game goes?
Well, I think they hope it goes quick so they can get in, get out. No shots fired here. Should be rowdy. I think it's a questionable decision from what I'm hearing out of Green Bay and Philly. But as far as the game goes, I don't have a huge play. I'm excited for a standalone Friday night game. It always sucks having that Thursday night. You get so hype, and then it's 2 days off before the full slate Sunday. So looking forward to a Friday night game, but I honestly don't know if I'll bet it. Philly's pretty public, which I'm shocked about. With Philly losing, I think it was 6 of their last 7 games last year, and Green Bay starting off pretty mediocre and then working their way up into the playoffs. Playoff win, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
It's shocking to me that Philly is getting the love in this game, so I would have to lean Green Bay. And I'm seeing Philly on DraftKings. They are the third most public team, 69% of the bets. On Bet Rivers, 5th most public, 74% of the bets over there. So, yeah, I guess I would lean Green Bay. Kind of the same thing that we talked about in our Thursday matchup. I think it could come down to the last possession. So I'll just lean the points. Lean on the over as well. I think we have 2 nice offenses. I think Philly's defense struggled on the stretch last year. I think they're going to be improved, but I'll have to see it to believe it, I guess, at that point. And then, just one last reason for leaning Green Bay. Philly is on Monday Night Football next week, which they play a lot of primetime games. I don't think it's a huge look-ahead spot for them. I'll talk more about some primetime look-ahead games that I like a little bit better, but just a slight lean on Green Bay, slightly on the over. Don't love either.
Yeah, complete agreement. Don't know why this game's being played. 2 green teams came and wear green. Brazil, let's just stay in continental North America. You get Mexico, you can have a Canada game, and maybe you can go over to England. Germany. Okay, Germany is fine. But why are we going to Brazil? What's next? Cameroon? Like, what are we doing here? I don't know. They don't even like football there. So anyways, stupid decision. Couple trends. I am the trend guy. I'm going to take over that role this year, maybe just because it's week 1. But international games, favorites are 29-15 against the spread and 33-10 straight up. So that would indicate Philly, which is also probably why the Eagles are one of the more public bet teams. The over is also at 49. It keeps going up from what I'm seeing. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense because first game of the year, international games are notoriously low scoring games. That's a weird look for me. And then again, I do have a player prop that I am going to be betting that I like more than any other bet in this game. And that is Saquon to score a touchdown. Basically, and kind of the reason I'm a little down on Jalen Hurts in fantasy, Jason Kelsey's done. Like, that's his center. That's his boy. That's how he was a major factor of the tush push. And obviously another center can do that, but you need a center to do that. And now they're going to try to train a new guy. I think in these goal line situations, they're going to give Saquon the ball and just let him carry it until he can't carry it anymore. So I like Saquon a lot to score. I think he's going to score 2. Green Bay has terrible rushing defense. At least last year they did. I don't think they made a whole lot of adjustments. So Saquon to score, and then I'm going to lean Green Bay as well. I'm going to take them at the plus 2.5. Don't know if I'm going to bet them, but I would lean Green Bay in this game.
This is a really tough one. I'm going to be on the Eagles for this reason alone. The Eagles are acting like a Madden Ultimate team right now. And this is as healthy as they're going to be this whole season. You got Saquon. He's going to be as healthy as he can. A.J. Brown. And I agree that I think that tush push we're going to see a major decline this year. I think Jason Kelsey was the main maestro of that. Eagles, I think that they really underperformed last year. So I think they're going to come out looking to really play like they should have last year. I think they're going to have a little bit of that revenge factor that, you know what, we didn't come out and we didn't play like we were expecting to. But heading into the Sunday games, and I feel like we're all going to be on the same side here, we have the Titans at the Chicago Bears. Bears are 4-point home favorites. Over-under set at 44.5. It feels fair, Wyatt, that you get to start this one. Let me know what side you're on. I already know.
Yeah, you already know. You already know how I feel about the Bears. If you guys remember, my play last year was Bears to not make the playoffs. You could still take that again this year. It's going to be a better price as well. Yeah, another trend out there. First overall picks that are quarterbacks that start for their team in game one. I know that was quite a mouthful. Are 0-14 and 1 straight up. I've never won a game since 2005. Starting quarterbacks that are picked first overall that start game one. Now the Bears, we're seeing them as a 4-point favorite. So they're saying, screw that trend. Caleb Williams is going to win outright, and he's going to win by 4. I don't know. I'm not a big Caleb Williams guy. I have drafted him in one fantasy football league to be the kind of the league. If my take sucks, then at least that fantasy league's going to be unreal. Yeah, it's the Titans. It's the Titans at the +4. I think Titans might have a shot at winning outright. I don't think the Titans are going to be that terrible. Obviously, Will Levis is a question mark. They got Calvin Ridley, who will get some volume, especially with D-Hop out. Who knows what they're going to do at running back, but I think the Titans will have a shot. I like them at the +4. The Bears might win, but covering the 4 points is going to be a tough task. So I like Tennessee in this game.
Titans, they've got Snead, man. The Titans, they got Snead now, an improved line and weapons, a new head coach. They got the Bengals, old offensive coordinator. Inject the Titans into my veins, man. Take the Titans even money line, probably. You get money with the Titans. That just seems like such a good bet. Ethan, are you making this a trifecta?
Yeah, I love the Titans. This could be a nominee for squad ride for sure. But Wyatt, you kind of led right into it. I don't think the Titans are going to be as bad as everyone thinks. And I know last year we were all down on the Titans. We thought they could potentially be the worst team in the league. So it's kind of funny that we're coming back now and saying they're not that bad. But you mentioned it, Ben, with L'Jarius Sneed. That's a huge upgrade for their defensive backs. Yeah, Calvin Ridley, Wyatt, you mentioned. Tony Pollard running the ball. Tyjae Spears, I think, is a good piece. I think Will Levis is decent. He showed flashes last year. Now he has a full offseason under his belt. I mean, yeah, I like the Titans. It's obvious fade Caleb Williams. I've never liked the guy. I've never bet on the guy consistently. I'm not going to start here. So, yeah, easy fade on Caleb Williams. 4 points. I love it. Probably a field goal game either way. I think the Titans win. And then lastly, just going into the scheduling, Bears have Sunday night at Houston on deck. Huge game. They obviously want to take advantage of Houston. The Bears are not used to playing primetime in the last 4 or 5 years, really since the double doink. So it's a game that they certainly have scheduled or circled on their schedule. And yeah, I think they're just have a peek ahead at that one. So give me Tennessee. I'll take the points to be safe, but I think they went outright.
I love it, man. Let's get into the Patriots heading to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. Bengals are 7.5-point home favorites. Over-under set at 40.5. So Chase has been holding out, but it looks like he is going to play in this game. Bengals have had a running back downgrade, and nobody wants to bet the Patriots this year. The Patriots are just going to be one of those really gross teams, so you're going to be getting a lot of high lines like this over a touchdown. It's gross, but I think I'm going to take the Patriots and take the points. I don't have a ton of love for the Bengals, but I just think that Patriots have a defensive-minded head coach. Mayo is a great player himself. I think he's going to go out there and be able to make this game ugly and keep it close. Ethan, what do you think?
Completely agree. Cincy, one of the most public teams, the most public at ESPN, bet 80% on Cincinnati. MGM, they have 67%. Bet Rivers 84%, and DraftKings 69%. So public all the way across the board. And this line started at -9 for Cincy, came all the way down to -7.5. I'm seeing it's bounced back to -8. Yeah, so no chance I lay it with Cincy here. Also, scheduling once again, Cincy has a matchup on deck against their new rival in the NFL, your Kansas City Chiefs, Ben. They care way more about heading into Kansas City, into Arrowhead. Sunday night, it's probably going to be America's game. Yeah, it is going to be America's game of the week. It's an afternoon kick. They care way more about that than getting their home opener against New England. So I like New England plus the points. I don't think I have the balls to bet it week one here. kind of like the under too, but I liked it a lot more at like 44. It's down to 40, so I can't bet that. I do, however, have Cincinnati in a teaser. It's a good teaser leg. I don't think they lose the game. I just don't think they win it by margin. So I think Cincy probably gets it done by like 4 points, 24-20, maybe somewhere in there, 21-17. But yeah, I lean New England. I have already put Cincinnati into a teaser.
Yeah, I know you guys asked for the trend on this game, so I'm going to give you it. Week 1, 7+ point favorites are 14-27. That is 34% against the spread. As you said, Bengals open at 9, down to 7.5. It is back up at 8 on my DraftKings screen here. Yeah, I like the Patriots. I think this is going to be a really low scoring game, so I really like the under as well, even though it is at 41 or whatever it's at. I really like the under, but I think the Patriots cover a touchdown. I'm right there in that possibly like I think it might be low scoring as like 13-9 ish type of game. I can't really see the Patriots scoring, but I also think the Bengals are gonna. I mean, Jamar hasn't even been at practice, and I know him and Burrow are buddies and went to college together, but that still takes time to get that timing down. And they lost Tyler Boyd, I believe. So they're gonna have some offensive struggles. I think their offensive line is also trash too. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a really low scoring game, ugly game. Great teaser leg. I haven't even thought about teasers. It's been I only tease in NFL, so it's only been 6 months since I've even thought of a teaser. So yeah, thank you for that mention. Great teaser leg at 7.5. But yeah, I think the Patriots get it done. I'll take them plus 7.5 all day, or plus 8.
I love it. We're talking about guys that don't have that chemistry if they haven't been playing together very long, which is a perfect segue to our next game. The Cardinals head to Buffalo to face the Bills. Bills are 6.5 point favorite. Over-under sit at 48. Josh Allen, he lost a lot of his receivers. Diggs is gone. Gabe Davis is gone. Ethan, you are the resident closet Bills fan, so why don't you take this one first?
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of change in Buffalo. All those offensive pieces, defensive as well. Jordan Poyer gone, Tre'Davious White gone, and their secondary wasn't very good to begin with those guys, but they were hurt all the time anyway. Damar Hamlin named starting safety today, so that tells you how deep the defensive back room is. But yeah, I like Arizona. I like Arizona plus the points. I think Arizona has a solid year. I'm kind of high on them. I like Kyler. I like Marvin Harrison. James Conner. They have some nice pieces on that team. Defensively, I think they're going to do okay as well. And Buffalo, yeah, I know the Sharps are super down on Buffalo. I don't know if I'm quite as low as what they are. I know Sharps are betting their win total under 9.5. I think they're probably going to end up right around there, 8, 9, 10 wins. So that's not a bet that I'm going to make. Yeah, I think Buffalo's defense is going to be what holds them back this year. I actually think Josh Allen does better without Stephon Diggs. I think the three of us have talked about this before, but he's just one of those cancerous receivers, in my opinion. Wants the ball too much, and then when he doesn't get it, he just causes issues, and it just wasn't good for Josh Allen or Buffalo, in my opinion. So I actually think Allen might turn the ball over fewer times this year. I think he's going to kind of be more himself, and I don't know. I just think he could thrive a little bit more offensively, but defense leaves a lot to be desired. So, yeah, I'm going to take Arizona plus the points. I'm also going to put probably half a unit on the money line. I think Arizona wins this game outright. And I kind of like the over in this one as well.
Yeah, the Bills got Sean Taylor at their other safety and Junior Seau at linebacker to add on with Damar Hamlin. So pretty good defensive squad there in Buffalo. Only one made it back from the dead. But we got Cardinals. I like the Cardinals as well. I think they went outright. I like them quite a bit. 6.5, you can get them under a touchdown. I don't think that line's going to stay. I think it might get up to 7 pretty soon. I'm seeing Cardinals at 6.5, minus 105. So that could very well be 7.5 by the time it kicks off here. But yeah, I mean, Arizona also has a little too much hype in my mind. We can't forget that they still suck. Their best player is a rookie who was fantastic in college, best college wide receiver by far. But he's also a rookie. So NFL is a different beast than college. Defense is still going to be atrocious. Kyler Murray's a huge question mark. James Conner's old. McBride is also getting a lot of hype. I don't know. Arizona's a big question mark, but I do like them. I think they have a legit chance of money lining winning outright. I can already see the headline of Buffalo losing on my Twitter feed. So I can see it. I can believe it. I think Arizona might win outright, but I'll take them on the spread.
Every time I try to visualize this game, one play keeps popping up in my head, but it's not either of these teams. It's the Chiefs and the Lions, and it is the ball bouncing off of Tony's hand straight into Brian Branches and taking it to the house. I just think, and I said, I think in that video, I'm like, Mahomes is just so good. Like, it doesn't matter about the receivers. The receivers do kind of matter. It does kind of matter, and it's not like Tony just had no hands. Like, that is just a genetic defect. But with some of these other guys, it's just the timing's not going to be there. And then, maybe it's not a pick, but it's a third down throw that there's miscommunication, ends up in a punt. That could cost you in a game like this. Absolutely agree. I think that the Cardinals have some pieces that they could take advantage of this Bills defense that, once again, communication is such a big part of defenses. Wyatt, you could, as a college defensive player, I mean, I know those guys in the backfield, they're talking to each other and stuff. I don't trust Damar Hamlin to go out there and be reading this offense and holding up against Marvin Harrison. And, James Conner, he's old, but he's as healthy, again, like as some of those other games. It's week 1, so these guys are as healthy as they're going to be for the season. So it's going to be another round of Cardinals. And you guys are making my job too easy with these segues, but we were talking about Stephon Diggs being a cancer. Yeah, go ahead, Ethan.
So one more if you're about to get into that game.
Yeah.
Buffalo, also Thursday Night Football on deck in Miami, division rival. So short week ahead. Another reason to like Arizona.
Man, that's something I like about you, Ethan. You bring the schedules to us because that's something I'd never look at. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Looking into this next divisional game, we have the Texans at the Colts. Colts are 2.5-point home dogs. Over/under set at 48.5. Wyatt, I'm interested to hear what you think about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Stroud hater. I was last year, and it did not work at all. That was a mistake. But I'm back on this year. There's a sophomore slump for a reason, right? One of the most public teams out there is Houston. I did see the line has moved to 3 points, 2.5, 3, depending on the book you're looking. Which I kind of thought it was, but I've already hopped on Indy in this game. I got Indy. I got them at the plus 2.5, which is looking like a dumbass line right now. But I think Indianapolis wins outright, and I don't think I'm actually not worried at all. I know they're going to win outright. I think it's my favorite bet of the weekend. Houston's just a little overrated. They have the 3 weapons, but sometimes too many weapons is a bad thing, and that's the problem with fantasy, too. You don't know who to draft out of those wide receivers, who's going to get all the receptions, who's going to do what. So it's really hard to utilize 3 stud wide receivers. And then the expectations are going to be so high when you're the rookie of the year and then added more offensive weapons. Yeah, I don't buy it one bit. Also, trends, week 1 underdogs, 90, 67, and 3 in the last 10 years. That is 57% against the spread. Week 1 divisional dogs are 69, 47, and 2 since 2003. That is 60% against the spread. Unfortunately for the Colts, though, I know this is a different Colts team than the last couple years, but since 2008, the Colts are 1-14 and 1 against the spread in their game 1 of the season. So just ignore that last trend. But yeah, Colts winning outright. I'll take them on the spread to be safe, but I will probably just money line them day of.
Yeah, I like the Colts too here. You mentioned Houston's public. ESPN 78%, MGM 78%, Bet Rivers 81%, DraftKings 85%. I've been looking at Indianapolis for probably 4 to 6 weeks at this point. The line jumped out immediately. A team that I'm very familiar with has not won. I've been on them each of the last probably 3 or 4 week 1 games. I'm very familiar with their long losing streak, 10 straight losses on opening day. And that number just jumped off the page to me. Plus 2.5 at home against America's sweetheart Texans for a team that can't win week 1. So I've been eyeing this one for a while here. Like Indy quite a bit. Houston public, all the trends going against Indy week 1. Houston has the Bears. We just talked about the Bears. They have them on Sunday Night Football next week. So I think if for nothing else, I think CJ Stroud has that one circled because Caleb Williams is being compared to the CJ Stroud of last year. I think CJ is going to want to kind of silence that. Yeah, I like Indy. I'll just give it out right now. Indy plus 8.5 and a teaser is my second leg with Cincinnati. So I've already locked that in. I unfortunately had Cincy when they're 8.5. So I have Cincy minus 2.5, Indy plus 8.5 in that teaser. Like that quite a bit. But yeah, I will end up betting Indy this weekend plus the 3. Waiting to get minus 110. It's at minus 115 right now. I think we do get minus 110. And then Indy money line, I'll be on that as well.
Nobody's wanting to put any money on the Colts. They are getting none of the money line love, and this is just one of the fights or one of the games that Vegas can feast on. They can just rake in all this money, and then there's nobody putting it on the money line, so they don't really have to worry about paying it out. So they're just paying out just a small little. I have it at 23% of the money on the spread for the Colts. And I don't know about you guys. We all play Madden, and if I'm trying to get Tyreek Hill to get 4,000 yards in a season, I'm starting throwing a lot more interceptions because I'm just doing go routes, bombing that thing. And it might be kind of the case here with Stephon Diggs. If they are trying to find their footing and how are they going to feed all these different mouths, it might be kind of a sloppy game from Stroud that we're seeing. So I'm with you guys. We're pretty lockstep so far. I'm going to take the Colts and the points too. Let's move on to this game down in Florida. We've got the Jags heading to Miami to face the Dolphins. Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites. Over-under set at 49. There's a small, sharp lean on the Dolphins. I just think there's too many weapons for the Dolphins. And maybe I'm just a Trevor Lawrence hater. I know he got a bunch of weapons this offseason, but I'm not going to be putting any faith in Gabe Davis, and it's a rookie, Brian Thomas. I mean, it's week 1, maybe give him a little bit of time. I just think the Dolphins are going to be too much. You got A-Chain, you got Waddle, you got Hill. They're a little banged up right now for week 1, but I just think at minus 3.5, I have to be on the Dolphins. What do you think, Ethan?
Yeah, so not a ton of confidence here. And you kind of touched on it. I do lean Jacksonville, but I just need to see it. I can't fully trust Jacksonville. I mean, I thought they were going to be division winner last year. I thought Super Bowl contender, playoff win, just none of it even came close. So I have to see it from Jacksonville first, but Miami Public again, 75% ESPN, 77% MGM, 76% BetRivers, 73% DraftKings. So probably the second most public team outside of Houston. Line hasn't moved. But yeah, I just don't trust Jacksonville enough to take the points here. That might change on game day. It'd be a small wager, if anything. And then scheduling again, Miami short week, Buffalo on deck, Thursday Night Football. So little look ahead spot there. Don't trust Miami here, or don't trust Jacksonville, but can't lay it with Miami. So yeah, best bet is Jacksonville, but not sure if I'll actually be betting that.
Yeah, I kind of hate this game. It's one of my least favorites. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be betting it. I kind of like the under. It's one of the second or third highest total at 49.5, wherever it's sitting. Kind of like the under. I think Miami is a little beat up. I know Tyreek has a thumb. Waddle has something wrong with him. Mostert's 47 years old. And then the Jags, I know Kirk's beat up. Gabe Davis sucks. And then Brian Thomas Jr. is a rookie. So I think offense is going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be a little slow. Also, Miami, I think, made some big adjustments on defense. I really haven't looked at their adjustments. I've just seen them shoot up on fantasy ADPs in there for their defensive rankings. So they definitely did something over there. I know they got Bradley Chubb. Is he on their squad? He might be back. I know he was injured. So, yeah, I kind of like the under. It's probably my favorite play. I'm going to lean Jacksonville for the graphic at plus 3.5. Now, if it gets down to 3, I really like Jacksonville, but I don't know if the line should keep going in Miami's favor. So this should get to 4.5 come kickoff. But I'm going to lean Jacksonville. Don't love this game. Will not be betting this game.
I think we're all in the same boat there. Let's talk about the Arthur Smith revenge game. We've got the Steelers heading to Atlanta to face the Falcons. Falcons are 3.5-point home favorites. Over-under set at 42. Ethan, what do you think about this one? This is kind of a tricky game, it looks like.
This game's tough. I mean, everyone loves Atlanta with Kirko
Mm.
and the weak division. Atlanta's going to be pretty public this year. But, God, I cannot back Russell Wilson. If this were Justin Fields, all over Pittsburgh. This is Pittsburgh's money line. I love it. It's not, though, so give him 3 weeks. Just took him in our fantasy draft today because I think he's the starter in a couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
still going to lean Pittsburgh. I don't think I'm going to bet it. Yeah, Kirk Cousins off the Achilles injury. It's his first action. Didn't play a snap of preseason. I think he's going to be okay, but it's tough to tell. He's an older quarterback. I think he's in year 13 now. Serious injury last time he played, so tough to trust that. And then Atlanta has Monday Night Football on deck against Philly in Philly. Again, Atlanta, similar to Chicago, just a team that recently is not used to playing primetime games. So I think that's a game that they're looking to get prepared for. Kirk has to hear the noise of primetime Kirk and how bad he is. So I'm sure he's going to want to come out with his new team and maybe put that to rest. So I think it's a look-ahead spot for Atlanta, even though it is week 1. I think this is actually sharp money on the over. I kind of like the under, to be honest, but it scared me away from it. I don't see a ton of points in this game, but yeah, I don't think I'll be involved in this one at all.
Yeah, like the previous game, my favorite play would be the under. I seriously don't think Pittsburgh's going to score a touchdown. I think this game's going to end like 13-3. I love fading Russell Wilson. It worked last year. He is not the answer. He's way past his prime. He's just annoying of a person. So I have no problem fading him. So I'll take Atlanta for the graphic. Yeah, Atlanta's going to be one of those weird teams. They have a very winnable conference or division. A lot of hype with Bijan, Kirko, Kyle Pitts. Is this going to be the year? Probably not. But a lot of hype. Drake London. They got weapons. Judon. They got some weapons. I just think they're going to be a little too public. But for the graphic, I'm not going to lay anything with Russell Wilson until he proves something. I don't think he can at Pittsburgh. He has 2 beaten up running backs. His wide receivers are trash. All he has is TJ Watt and the coach, and that's about all he has there. So I can't lay with Pittsburgh. Favorite play would be the under. For the graphic, I'll take the Falcons.
I actually like the Steelers quite a bit, and I locked them in like a couple months ago. And part of it is what you guys have said. Nobody wants to lay money with Russell Wilson. It's just gross. Kirk and the Falcons are getting so much hype. You're getting points with the Steelers. Arthur Smith, I think, is going to be a little extra aggressive against his old team. We're looking at the Falcons, brand new head coach, too. So this is going to be his first game. I think Steelers have a better defense. I'm getting the points. I think these teams are actually really similar. That the quarterbacks have question marks. Kyle Pitts already came out that he has a leg injury. And, I mean, we haven't even started the season. Both have, like, pretty underperforming tight ends with, I mean, is there any running back room more similar than, like, Najee, Warren, and then Algier and Bijan? They're just so similar, and so now I'm getting the points with the Steelers. I'm just going to trust Tomlin and take the points. Yes.
Question.
Yes.
When you locked it in, were you hoping Fields would be the starter?
I might have been.
Second question. No, this is a statement. If Russ goes down, everyone just live bet the Steelers immediately.
Yes. Let's move on to the next game. We've got another divisional game. The Panthers are heading to New Orleans to face the Saints. Saints are 4-point home favorites. Over-under set at 41.5. Wyatt, I feel like I should start with Ethan. This might be puke in your mouth, game of the week worthy, but Wyatt, I'll start with you.
Yeah, it might be puke in the mouth. Very well has an argument to be. It's got to be Carolina at the +4. I love Carolina +4. I think the Saints are going to suck this year. Carolina's Carolina. They're not going to be great, but I'm seeing a lot of sharp money on Carolina. Again, with the trends, the underdog trends in week 1, the divisional underdogs in week 1. I've lost a lot of money on Carolina preseason and regular season. The last 2 preseasons and then last season on Carolina, but they're sharp. I can't lay it with the Saints right now. Derek Carr's, Chris Olave can't catch every time I bet. I can't bet the Saints. So give me the Give me the Panthers. Probably one of my favorite plays, and it's pretty disgusting. Might have to wash my mouth out after this one, but yeah, Panthers plus 4. Maybe sprinkle in the money line.
I love Carolina. It's so gross, but I'm not going to lay points in New Orleans. I hate New Orleans. I think they're going to be dog shit this year. Yeah, and you're getting 4 on Carolina, a team that has sucked each of the last 2 seasons. Yeah, to be honest, I trust Bryce Young as much as I trust Derek Carr, and that says a lot because Bryce Young was horrible last year. Just knowing him from Bama, I mean, he's got a level head. He's been in big game situations in college. I trust that he isn't going to regress, at least from last year. I think he does better. I liked Carolina's draft. I really don't like anything about New Orleans at all. I still wish they'd play Taysom Hill more because they'd be way more dynamic. But their defense is aging every single day. I feel like they've had the same defensive players like Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu. They've had the same guys for, it feels like, 8 years. And they're just getting older and older. Yeah, I don't like anything about New Orleans this year. I think Dennis Allen is on a short leash. He might be gone by week 6. Yeah, there's just no way I could lay points with New Orleans here. So it's Carolina for me. Probably comes down to a field goal either way. I think Carolina probably wins outright, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not a New Orleans guy this year.
You guys mind if we just stop recording since we're all
Muted.
the Patriots Cardinals? Am I still? Test. No. Test.
Yeah. There you go.
My mic just went out.
That's
Do I
weird.
sound okay?
Here,
Sounds like it's going through your computer.
Test. Now I'm on my Yeti. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know what happened there. Okay. I've got like a little bit of a lag now.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Test. Okay. We'll just roll with it. Do you guys mind if we stop filming now since we're all on the Patriots, Cardinals, and Panthers? This is disgusting. Would you guys like to take a guess where PFF has the Saints offensive line ranked?
I'm going to guess it's pretty near the top.
31. 31 of 32. They're terrible. The Saints, I feel like they got worse going into this year. You have an older Alvin Kamara. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of shit saying, you don't have Michael Thomas anymore. It's like, y'all haven't had Michael Thomas for like 6 years, so whatever. But still, I would say their receiving core is taking a step back. And then you look at the Panthers, everything they've done is they've gotten better. They aren't going to have their rookie running back, but, I mean, now you got Deontay Johnson. You've had some upgrades on the offensive line. I can't believe that the Panthers are underdogs here. Only 10% of money on Carolina money line. I feel like I'm kind of with you guys. I think the Panthers are just going to outright win this. Carolina got better. Saints got older. So I think we're all in agreement there.
For future, Ben, when you're talking about Michael Thomas, it's easier to say how many years he played for the Saints rather than how many years he did not play for the Saints.
That's fair. That is fair. Let's move on to the 10th game. We got the Vikings at the New York Giants. Giants are 1.5-point home dogs. Over-under sit at 41. Wyatt, this game's disgusting. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I love the Vikings. I love them. You're telling me backup quarterbacks, or I guess starter, because he probably would have started even with JJ healthy, but probably not a starter-worthy caliber quarterback for the Vikings. Is a 1.5-point favorite on the road. Yeah, I mean, that's nuts. It's got to be Vikings money line. Danny Dimes is very similar to that Russell Wilson take. Until he proves anything, I will not be laying a cent on Danny Nichols. That guy is trash. And I don't even know why they paid him. No idea. They lost Saquon, which was their only piece. They're similar to the Cardinals. Their best player is a rookie wide receiver who has a quarterback that throws pick sixes instead of completion. So can't lay a cent on Danny Dimes until he proves otherwise. I'll happily fade him until he makes me want to jump off a ledge. But yeah, I'll take Vikings on the road, money line. Sign me up.
Yeah, this is the puke in the mouth game of the week. Yeah, I can't lay. I'm not betting this game. I lean the Giants. They're at home, but I'm not betting Danny Dimes. I'm actually a little higher on Sam Darnold than I think a lot of people are, but I'm not going to bet him on the road week 1, first game in Minnesota. Minnesota's only very public on one sports book is BetMGM, 70% on Minnesota. Not sure why the MGM users love them more than the other sports books, but they do. But yeah, I'm not betting this game. I'll keep it short. Don't like it at all. Giants for the graphic.
I hate that I'm with you. I hate that I'm with you here, Ethan. It just looks like there's like no money coming on the Giants because nobody wants to. But I think that the Giants do have the better defense. And if Danny Dimes is going to get a layup, I mean, he gets Minnesota defense week 1 at home. So you get the extra point and a half, which is basically nothing. But I'll go with the Giants just based on their defense. Let's move on to the Broncos heading to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Seahawks are 6-point home favorites. Over-under set at 41.5. I've seen a lot of sharp money coming in on Seattle. Broncos have that rookie quarterback. I hate that 6 line. I really, really hate that 6 line, but I'm not sold on Bo Nix. And I think the Seahawks, their defense, they've got a couple ball hawks over there. That 6 makes it really hard, but I think I'll have to take the Seahawks. What do you think, Ethan? Just playing against the rookie QB.
Yeah, I'll keep this one short too. Seattle for the graphic, but I'm not laying 6 with Seattle. I'm not taking 6 with Bo Nix in his first game. So Seattle for the graphic, will not touch that game. That's probably the one I have the least opinion on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm right there. Seattle graphic. I, like you guys, probably won't be betting it, but I am interested in watching it. Seattle, people are down on them a little bit this year. Not entirely sure why. I guess, Geno's just not fantastic, but Seattle was a decent team last year. They were in that wild card race. You got DK Metcalf. You got Kenneth Walker, if they can all stay healthy. Like you said a couple of times, Ben, this is the healthiest they're going to be. And then you got Bo Nix, who getting a lot of hype. I think a little unwarranted, unnecessary hype. He has no wide receivers to throw to besides Cortland, who I actually kind of like Cortland, but no one else likes him. So there's hype with Bo Nix, no hype with wide receivers. What's he going to do then? Hand the ball off? I don't understand. You have to have hype with both, and that's just not what's happening. So really excited to see how both these teams look. I think Seattle honestly steamrolls them, but I'm not confident to bet on this game. So I think Seattle gets it done. Like I said, I think they win pretty ugly, but interesting to see how both these teams look week 1.
Absolutely agree. We're going to move on to an AFC divisional matchup. Raiders versus the LA Chargers. Chargers are 3-point home favorites. 40.5 is the over and under. Ethan, what do you think about this one, man? Harbaugh's first game back in the NFL.
Yeah, got another game I don't love. The afternoon slate kind of sucks, but yeah, no home field advantage for the Chargers. They don't have fans.
No. Besides that one lady.
That's what I was thinking.
Except the one they hired.
Sorry, at Kamala. At a Kamala convention.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, slightly on Vegas. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of hype. Well, there's a lot of hype with Harbaugh and the new look Chargers. I do think Herbert does get back on track this year and plays pretty well, but I just don't know if it's going to be game 1. There's also, I don't remember the exact numbers, and I meant to bring this up earlier, but division dogs week 1 are winning at or covering a pretty good clip. and actually division home dogs week 1 since 2014. I think they're like 16-3, which goes back to the Colts, by the way. But yeah, Vegas for the graphic here. Not going to bet this game.
Out of respect for my boy, it's got to be the Chargers on the spread. I don't understand the hype. I don't get it. It's going to be a complete different looking offense than the Chargers are used to. Say goodbye to the passing attack, probably because they have no wide receivers, but also that's just not how Harbaugh plays. And then the Raiders are the Raiders. They suck. So, I like the Chargers. Not going to bet it. I'm just going to do it for my boy Jimmy H. Love the under in this game. I think this is going to be a disgusting game, like a 3-6. I think it's going to be absolutely disgusting. Love the under. I don't think a single touchdown is going to be scored.
I'm with you, Wyatt. I'm on the Chargers as well. They could have had Neighbors and just like really gave a solid receiver to Herbert. They said, no, I'm going to go Joe Alt. That offensive line for the Chargers is slept on because, I mean, they have some really, really, really good players. Not high on Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, but I think behind that offensive line, they can do enough. They're against the Raiders. Screw it. Also, we don't have to worry about Staley this year. We've got Harbaugh, and that was one of the big issues. And the Raiders, this is what kills the Raiders every year that they start like this. No interim head coach. They suck with the coach they start the year with. As soon as they fire the guy, whoever comes in, some little bald guy with a mustache, he leads them on. They do really good. Antonio Pierce did really good. Now that he's the head coach, dude fucking sucks, dude. Like, dude's terrible. Run heavy scheme, man. A dicker the kicker. Give me the Chargers. Like you said, it could be a low scoring game. They just get within field goal range, just kick, and just keep that. Harbaugh is a pretty good defensive minded head coach. I think he can keep Zamir White and the Raiders at bay. Maybe he can get Devontae Adams can get his 100 yards before he's throwing his helmet and cussing on the sideline.
But then you don't like J.K. Dobbins and his 90-degree leg to go sprinting down the sideline.
I did just draft J.K. Dobbins, remember that? Every year I draft J.K. Dobbins, and every year he's off my team by week 4.
Yeah, well, he's off the field by week 4, so.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next game. We've got the Cowboys at the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 2.5-point home favorites. Over-under set at 41. This is a really interesting game. This line, I think, raises a lot of questions. Ethan, I'm interested to hear what you think about it.
I like Cleveland in this game, and I kind of like them quite a bit, but I feel like I've just heard a little bit too much about them, so I don't know if I'm going to end up getting there. But Dallas is one of the more public dogs this week. ESPN, 72%. And then DraftKings, 67%. I'm down on Dallas this year. Was really high on Dallas last year. They were my big future play on over 9.5 wins. They got there by like week 12 or 13. It was super easy. Loved Dallas a lot last year. I think they're going to come down. I think that was Dak's ceiling. I think that was CeeDee Lamb's ceiling. I just don't think they can really do much better offensively than what they did last year. Their offensive line is getting worse. They're losing pieces, and the ones that are still there are getting older. Their running game, I don't know how you're going to trust Zeke to be your number one back. I think Rico Dowdle takes over there pretty quick. I don't trust Cook. Zeke. Yeah. Throw him in this conversation. I don't love Dallas. The CD offseason distraction, just don't love it. I like Cleveland's defense. I like Cleveland's weapons. I don't like Deshaun Watson. So I don't know if I'll get there on Cleveland. We'll probably see how the opening window goes. If I'm doing pretty well, if I'm seeing the board well, I'll probably get in on Cleveland for a unit. But as of now, I'm just kind of sitting back and watching. But yeah, I do like Cleveland. It's one of my stronger leans at this point, I would say. And then I kind of like the under. I think both defenses are going to be better than the offenses. Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett are going to be the two best players on the field, respectively. So kind of like the under. It seems very low for a Dallas game who put up the most points in the league last year.
Yeah, it's got to be Cleveland for me. Dallas opened as I believe, 1-point favorite. Again, this is probably in April, May. Who knows when those lines came out, but has since moved to a 2.5-point dog. You know, all the trends I've given about week one underdogs hitting at 57% against the spread. It's Dallas. It's America's team. And they're still an underdog. Like, I don't know. Cleveland is – no one's talked about Cleveland this offseason, really. I mean, they got Jerry Jeudy, who can't be worse than he was on Denver. So, yeah, and then the whole – like Ethan said, the whole offseason has been about CD Lamb. It's CD, CD, CD. He wants to get paid. He finally got paid. But it's been a huge thing. And all the players – you know Dak's thinking about it because if CD's not there, who's he throwing the ball to? Cooks? Ferguson, there's no one. It's CD's team. They have no running back. Dallas is gonna struggle this year, so I'm gonna take Cleveland. I think Cleveland wins outright. I'll take them on the spread at the 2.5. I can't see this getting to 3, but honestly, you could take a money line. I think they're like minus 130, 135 money line, so that should be pretty safe. I think Cleveland wins this in a pretty low scoring game.
Guys, when this line came out, I saw that the Cowboys were underdogs by almost a field goal. For those of you that don't know, sports betting is not legal in Missouri. I almost jumped in my car and drove straight to Illinois. And I was like, there's no way. They got this line so wrong. And the closer we get to week one, I'm not so sure. I think I'm with you guys. 90% of money where I was looking is on the Dallas money line. And so there's no way Vegas is paying out 90% of money at plus odds. That's just not happening. Browns... The same reason I picked the Chiefs versus the Ravens. I can't be a hypocrite. If it gets won and lost in the trenches, I just think the Cleveland Browns have a much better offensive line and defensive line. You remember back when Dallas had like that elite offensive line? Do you know how many of those guys are left?
One.
Zach Martin. Zach Martin's the only guy left. Everybody else, I mean, Terrence Steele, come on. Stop it. They lost their big tackle. I forget his name right now. That they had for years. He's gone. And so I think this is going to be super easy game plan for Cleveland. You're not going to have any success running the ball with Zeke, Dalvin Cook, Rico Dowdle with that offensive line. It's not happening. Just pass rush the entire game. Don't let CD, double up CD. I think that the route for victory is just so clear for Cleveland. And so I'm with you guys too, man. Cleveland Browns minus 2.5.
Love it.
All right, the Commanders head to Tampa Bay to face the Bucks. Bucks are 3-point home favorites. Over/under sit at 44. Wyatt, what do you think for LSU's boy coming out having his first game against Baker Mayfield and the Bucks? He's getting 3 points. Do you think he pulls it off?
Yeah, I hate tailing rookie quarterbacks, for example, Bo Nix, for example, Jane Daniels, that have one or two good plays or drives in the preseason. Everyone thinks of the second coming of Christ. It's the preseason. If you have those guys starting, they're probably not playing the opposing team's first string defense. So yes, Daniels looked a little impressive. He had a couple good drives. He ran a couple in. Same thing with Bo Nix. I just have a hard time betting on him. But also, I mean, Washington lost Watson or Dotson, sorry. So now their receivers are Scary Terry and Jaden Daniels and Eckler and Brian Robinson. It's just not a whole lot of talent there for a rookie. I'm really concerned of his weapons he's going to have, and he's just not I don't think he's a great he's a good playmaker. I don't think he's a great decision maker. So if you don't have a lot of safe options, I think he's going to find himself in bad situations. With that being said, the line at 3.5, I'm having a hard time seeing that. I think the line should be around 6 in favor of Tampa. I think that Tampa has, again, a really good shot at winning their division. Commanders have no chance of winning theirs. This line seems a little off, so probably not going to bet this game. I want to take Tampa, but I think it's a trap, so I'm going to go with the Commanders.
Yeah, I don't love this game. I think Jane Daniels is going to end up being good, but it's so tough to back him week 1 on the road. Divisional matchup on deck for Washington. Small lean on Tampa. I know people are down on Tampa this year, but they were good last year. They didn't really lose anybody. I mean, they still have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Baker, what's his face in the backfield, White. Defense is still fairly solid. I mean, I know they lost like Carlton Davis, came to Detroit. I think a couple other DBs, but they still have Winfield and some of those pieces that won a Super Bowl with them 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I guess, not that long ago. Todd Bowles still there, so yeah, I don't know how to feel about really either of these teams. I could see them both being decent. I could see them both being not so good. So I'm not going to bet this game. Tampa also does have Detroit on deck in Detroit. It's their playoff revenge game as Detroit beat them, intercepting Mayfield on that final drive there. So could be a small look ahead for Tampa as well. Not sure if the other team's going to look ahead because they probably need every win they can get this year. But Tampa for the graphic, again, probably not going to bet this one.
You know how high I was on Big Dick Baker last year, and they ended up taking the division. This year, they're kind of being slept on. For the Falcons, I think it's a super winnable division for them. I think I still lean the Falcons taking the division, but the Bucks are going to be right there. It looks like 20% of money on the Bucks, and I just think that Bucks defense versus a rookie quarterback is going to cause some problems. And then I was looking at that Washington defense, and I just remember them being so good, but like, I don't know, Chase Young wasn't ever great, but like he's gone. Their defensive ends are terrible, so they have no contain anymore. They got their 2 deep tackles right in the middle, but I mean, they're getting older every single year. I think Rashad White could take advantage of that. They only have to cover the 3. I'm with you, Ethan. I think I'm on the Bucks also. Let's go to the Sunday night game, guys. The LA Rams head to face the Dome God, Jared Goff, and the Detroit Lions. Lions are 3.5-point favorites. Over-under set at 50.5, the highest total on this slate. Ethan, what do you think, man? This game is going to be awesome.
First of all, I'm glad you better him than I call him the Dome God. So I got called down to have some questions, but
hey, the dude plays outside 3 times all year, man. He's the Dome God this year.
He is. Depends on what dome you're talking about, but I regretfully like LA quite a bit. Detroit public as could be. I mean, it's them and it's Houston this year. I think those are going to be 2 of the worst teams against the spread, in my opinion. It kind of sucks. I'm going to try not to fade Detroit a ton this year, but I just feel like that's going to be the smart way to do it. 68% ESPN for Detroit, 66 MGM. And then, let's see. No, that's all I have for those. But, yeah, Detroit pretty public. They're going to be kind of America's sweetheart with the Texans for another season. It's in Detroit. Sunday night, the atmosphere should be rocking. But it's revenge game for the Rams, obviously, with the last playoff game, the last game they played in Detroit. So they're playing back-to-back games in Ford Field. And really, I mean, the Rams were able to pass all over Detroit's defense. Detroit got lucky and put up points early in that game and then made some plays when it really mattered. But Puka and Kupp, I think, are going to kind of have a heyday against Detroit's young secondary. It's going to take a few games for them to gel, obviously using their first 2 picks this year on Arnold and Rakestraw in the draft, 2 cornerbacks. They do have Carlton Davis, but again, his first game with a new team. So I just think the Rams are going to be able to pass on Detroit's secondary. I think it gets better as the year goes on, their secondary, but it could be rough in this first week. Like another game where I truly think it's a 50-50 pick 'em. Whoever gets the ball last probably kicks a game-winning field goal. So with getting over a field goal on the Rams, I'll gladly take it. No, I won't gladly take it, but I will take the points. I'll probably bet it. Kind of sucks, but I like the Rams.
Yeah, tough game here. All I know is Matt Stafford's family is going to get physically assaulted in Detroit again. I hope they do. Just kidding. Couple trends. Also, I'm watching this game with a couple buddies, so I already know I'm going to be throwing a stupid amount of money on Detroit as well as Detroit player props. It's just how it works when beers are involved when you're with some friends. But against the spread, opening game, Jared Goff 7-0 against the spread. Unfortunately, majority of those games, he was with the Rams. So what's the Rams coach again? McVay also 8-0 against the spread in his week one. So you got two different battle in week one spread betting that are both 100% hit rates, and one of them's not going to hit. So again, trends don't really mean a whole lot. I just think they're interesting. I, like Ethan, think this game is going to be a 3 or 4 point game. I kind of like the under. Again, it seems a little square to take the lowest under or the highest total and go under that. But I really have like the score. I think they played last year when it was like 20-24, and that score is like really sticking out in my head. Like a 20-24, possibly Detroit win, so that they would cover the spread there. But it's going to be a 2 to 4 point game in my mind. So I don't think I'm comfortable right now taking the spread. For the graphic, I will lay it with Detroit, but I think the smart play is just if you like Detroit, take a money line. I know they're pretty gross right now at the 185, but I just think this game is going to be pretty back and forth. I do think it's going to be somewhat lower scoring, so I'd lean the under. But again, I don't love that because I think that's pretty popular as well. So yeah, this one has my head in a pretzel. I'm going to go with my boys in Detroit, but it should be a great battle. I'm looking forward to watching it. Not looking forward to betting it.
I'm on the Lions. I think you guys got the best cornerback in the draft, and now you've had the best offensive line in the league. Jahmyr Gibbs might be a little banged up. You got David Montgomery. You're fine. Like, I was looking at that Rams defense, and like, I consider myself quite a football fan. I'm like, who the hell are most of these guys? Like, I don't even recognize these names. Like, the Rams defense, they're a far cry from the Aaron Donald days, Jalen Ramsey when they were good. I just think the Lions are going to be, they're just too loaded, kind of like how I took the Dolphins. They're too loaded, too good, and I like them to get it done. All right, so now, yes, Ethan.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Yeah,
One more prop that I like in that game. I think you can ride it all year. Not all year, but a lot of the games, even if it doesn't hit. Jamison Williams, touchdown scorer. FanDuel is plus 250. Shop around. It might be a little bit better elsewhere. But I was doing it with Sam Laporta last year. He was in the plus 200, plus 270, basically all season. Touchdown machine. I think JMO has a huge year. Steps up big time this year. So I think his yards, his catches, his touchdown, I think you can hit them all early. And, if he goes off the first 3 weeks, you're never going to get plus 200 again on him to score or yards. And I don't know what it is, probably the 40s, 50s, 60s maybe. So I'd look at Jamison Williams props early.
I think JMO's going to have a huge year. I was so sad I didn't get him in the league. But that's Bobby's guy over there. Breaking down our top 3 picks for this week. Ethan, do you want to go first?
Well, are we going to squad ride the Titans?
That's a good point. They were going to be one of my picks, so I'm fine having the Titans. Wyatt?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
So that is going to, because they were in my top 3 as well. So I'll make a quick change here. My first one is going to be Carolina plus the 4.5, wherever we're sitting right now. Second is going to regretfully be the Rams plus 3.5. Sometimes I don't do that good on the big 3, so it's a little bit strategic. If I do lose one, I hope it's that. And then for my final game here, give me that teaser that I already locked in. Cincy minus the 2, I guess, is what's sitting at right now. Indy plus, I guess, 9 is what we're sitting at, but anywhere around there. Give me that teaser.
I like it. I love your teasers. I'm not a big teaser guy, but I do like how you work around those teasers there. I'm going to go Saquon anytime touchdown for his debut at the Eagles in Brazil. So Saquon touchdown. I am going to go the Vikings money line. Oh, boy. You already locked in the Colts, right? Did you?
Just the teaser.
I'll just lock in the Colts money line as well. You know what? Yeah. Colts money line. Lock it in. We're not messing around with the spread. Colts money line, Vikings money line, Saquon touchdown.
I'm going to take Carolina plus the points. Do the Browns money line. And I'm stuck between like the Patriots or Cardinals.
I like the Cardinals more, but
I get over a touchdown with the Patriots, though. What do you think,
Yeah.
Nathan?
Cardinals. You're gonna be kicking yourself if since he goes out and wins 38-2.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I'll do the Cardinals. Cardinals plus 8.5 or 6.5. God, I wish I could get that at 8.5. Could you imagine? All right.
Hope it gets.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. We're going to be back on Monday. These two guys are going to be back with a live, but we will also have an episode in the morning on Monday, and then me and Bobby will have a live on Tuesday, breaking down the waiver wires for you guys, who to add after week 1, who rose, who sunk, who you need to just get off your team. There might be a couple guys after week 1 that the hype was just too high. So make sure you guys check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. And if you haven't yet, head over to Sharps so you guys can see what bets we're on, or the Fantasy Sports Advice Network so you can get custom fantasy advice from other experts in the field. And we'll see you guys on Monday. Peace, guys.
See you guys.
later, guys.
You better start listening to the Better in Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? Listening to cash out, that's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover all spot from the bottom to the top, hey. Shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome, welcome to our podcast, Better in Green.